Hi, I'm Terry, one of the consumer technology specialists here at Mid-Continent Public Library, and today is the very first short video of what I hope to be a continuing series on word basics. Today we really are going to start at the beginning and we're going to learn how to open Word, and then we're going to explore the ribbon and see all of the possibilities that we have for making a really great Word document. To open Word, you have several possibilities, but we're going to just go the way most people go, which is down at the very lower left of our screen, we can see the Start menu. Now it kind of looks like four separate windows, which is the Windows icon. Well, we're going to click on that. And then we have two possibilities. Over on the right, if you have added some tiles, you may very well have added in a tile for Word already, but you might also have decided to use just the alphabetical list. When you look at this alphabetical list, you can see that the different letters are the headings for the different groups of titles of your different programs. So for example, the C heading has under it calculator and calendar on my computer. Well, I'm going to click on the A, although I could click on any letter, but that brings up a grid of all the different letters, and any letter that looks kind of bright white has some titles underneath it. So let's go to the W, we'll click on it, and the very last choice in the W's is Word, and we'll click on it, and then we have some choices to make. So we could use some templates here that are sort of pre-made documents that you fill in the blanks and kind of make them your own. You customize those, or you could go through and see some of the documents that you've created in the last little while. But today we're going to simply click blank document, and here we are in Word. Above our new clean blank document, we have a gray bar that runs across the whole screen, and that bar is called the ribbon. Now the ribbon contains all of the buttons and options that are available to you in Word, and they help you make your document look the way you want it to look. There are so many buttons, though, that the ribbon actually has tabs across the top, things like Home, Insert, Design, Layout, References, Mailings, Review, and View, that all contain a lot more buttons so that you can kind of logically figure out where the button is that you want to use. Now, within the tabs, you also have groups of buttons, and again, this is just a way to kind of filter down to find the buttons that you want to use. So, for example, this font group on the Home tab has a lot of buttons, but they all have something to do with changing the font. Now, there's one other tab that we want to look at, and that is the File tab. The File tab is called the Backstage View, and if you think about it, the document that we see right now, if it had something typed on it, would be sort of equivalent to the actors and singers and dancers on a stage. But the File view, that Backstage view, is more like the people who are hidden behind the curtain, the ones who do a lot of the work, but not necessarily anything that other people can see. So here you are doing things like maybe opening a new document or saving your existing document or even printing the document that you do have. Of all the tabs on the ribbon, the one that you are most likely to use most of the time is the Home tab. And on that tab, you have a lot of different buttons that you are going to use repeatedly. So starting at the left, we have the Clipboard group, and in that group, you're going to either save to that temporary spot of memory in your computer that's called the clipboard using Cut or copy, or you're going to paste from the clipboard to your document using the paste button. There's also the format painter that lets you copy formatting from some text and paste it onto other text in your document. To the right of that, we have the font group, and all of these buttons simply add changes to the text so that it looks the way you want it to look. To the right of that, we have a paragraph group that has a lot of different options, things like numbering and bullets, changing the alignment, say from left alignment to center alignment, adding inline spacing, maybe from single space to double space, and several other really interesting options here as well. The styles group is usually a little more advanced, but what you do with styles is you take those pre-created formats and you apply them to your text. Usually that's for headings or for titles. To the right of that, you have an editing group that doesn't have a lot of choices here, but they're very important because sometimes you want to find text, or you might want to find that text and then replace it with something else. And occasionally you want to select text and then make changes to it. So those are really important. Now, this last group, the voice group, may not be on your version, but if it is, this lets you dictate what you want to see on this document instead of needing to type it yourself. Just to the right of the Home tab, we have the Insert tab, and it has a lot of choices for you to insert items that you cannot type into your document. So, for example, the Pages group, although it's kind of small and you could probably add some of these things by a lot of extra work, you could add a cover page or a blank page, but here we could also add a table if we wanted to do that. Or in this group, the illustrations group, we could add pictures or online pictures from the web. We could add in shapes if we need to do that, or even this new button icons, which are just little, very clean figures that we might want to add in. We could also add in links if we decided to do that, add comments. This header footer group is really important because we can add headers and footers, or especially page numbers. At the far right, you have symbols. Occasionally, you need to add in a math symbol or a trademark symbol, and that's where you can find those. Two tabs to the right of Insert is the Layout tab, and this is another tab that you will probably use frequently, as it lets you determine the margins on your page if you decide that you don't want the default 1 inch all the way around. You can change the orientation from portrait to landscape. You can determine the size. So while most of us use printers that allow for letter size paper, you could also use legal, for example, or even invitations. You could add columns to your document if you wanted to do that. The other tabs in Word are a little more advanced than where we are right now, so we'll look at them again a little bit later. But for now, the Design tab is used by people who want to use Word as a desktop publisher to create something like a newsletter. The References tab is, again, for those who want more advanced features as they create research papers or contracts or any kind of a legal document that requires something like a table of contents or footnotes or endnotes or citations. Mailings tab is for those who want to do a mail merge or create some sort of a mailing label or envelope. The Review tab is used by those who want to share their document and then get comments or even corrections from other people. And then the View tab simply allows for other views. And so one of the more simple views is just to zoom in. Usually you use your documents zoom at 100%, but you might decide to go in for fine detail and change that to 200%. To learn more about Word, be sure to join us at mymcpl.org/online learning. There you'll see such great resources as Universal Class, lynda.com, Who Knew It, and Learning Express Library. Be sure to join us each week as we explore